what's happening on our doorstep. We've got to live our lives here. We don't live in Afghanistan or on the telly. We live here. So you're right.
I do think that it's maybe, I wouldn't say it's not time to time to stop them, but also time to take a little bit time and have a little deliberation between themselves. I'm not talking about the people on the other side, I'm talking about the people on our side. Have a little bit deliberation, and so people can actually think about what they're actually thinking about, because it's sort of, I think we haven't won no wars, right, and we haven't won no battles. The top mountains, we've been there, and we've settled the ground. So it's time for the people on the ground. I'm not talking about Americans or English or whatever. Right? It's time for them to sort themselves out.
Right then. Well, I think there we are. That says it all, Michael. Thank you.
Would you agree with that?
Exactly. What on earth are we on about? I don't know where you are, Michael. Time for what sort? It's all platitudes. It means no, man. Anne.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh. The on about September the 11th.
September the 11th.
Which is a good time for me.
Right. How's that?
My son was born on September the 11th.
This year?
No.
Oh.
He would have been 27. He died when he was 21.
Oh, that's sad.
And my grandson was born on September the 11th.
Right.
Which is 3 now.
Well, sadly now he's got another reason why people remember his birthday, because of the events in America.
And I have a sad time and a good time, because it's like my grandson's birthday and my son's birthday.
Yeah.
Right? And like I said, I lost my son. He was 21 with meningitis.
21? Meningitis?
Yeah.
It's terrifying, that.
It was like, he came in from work on the Tuesday and said, "Mum, I'm so cold." He never liked the fire on or anything. We got the doctor out. He said it was flu. And on the Wednesday, 72 hours later, he was gone. And then my daughter got pregnant at early age. And he was born on September.
Very, very eerie, and it's one life gone and one life brought back.
You think?
Well, yeah. Oh, look. Well, it's terribly sad, and yet, as you're quite right, it's a joyous.
My grandson is so much like him. It's unbelievable. And he calls himself, why I don't want to say, but he calls himself, when you say, "What do you call you? What's your name?" And he'll say my son's name.
Well, I think he's trying to find a hero for himself as well, and that's good.
He's 3-year-old, and when you say, "But where's your uncle so and so?" he'll say, "On the living room wall." You know the picture. And when I hear about September the 11th, it just is a cry.
Well,
and I think about all the people that's lost kids, lost parents, lost uncles, aunties.
Well, at the same time, you've got a celebration as well, and you've got to go on. It's the life, it's the living you look for, and the dead. You know, the dead are being taken care of, and now it's the living who've got to be taken care of.
Well, I never think he's gone. I never ever think he's gone.
Right. Well, whatever gets you through, man. You know.
Do you know, Mike? I see kids on the streets now. They're taking drugs. They muck old ladies. They break into houses and everything. And my son never ever did that. He lived for a Friday night to go out on the drink, right?
Well, the majority of kids don't do that. The majority of kids are like your son. Let's tar them all. I mean, there are some monsters out there, and there are some bloody chinkies, Charlies and thieves and scum. But the majority are just like your son, who try and do the best in life, and it's very sad, tragic that you've lost your lad at such an early age. And what is frightening, I suppose, for a lot of people out there, is to find that somebody who's 20 odd can catch meningitis to the extent it kills you.
Yeah.
I think as everybody thinks of Burns.
He was 21-year-old. Yeah. He was a big strapping lad.
So, did they know where he got it from?
No.
Work or?
Well, we think work. Yeah.
Sarah. Well,
like I say, came in that.
And did anybody else suffer at work?
No.
Well, he's been very unlucky, and it's very great tragedy, that. A very great tragedy. But again, the mystic world possibly comes into play.
Do you know, Mike, I don't even go out this house, and it's 5 years since.
What, you've never gone out?
No.
Well, that's not really paying. I think you're being stupid.
I went away, me brother, me partner, my sister-in-law, tried to say, oh, come away on holiday, everything will do, we good and all this. So it was 5 years since I lost my son. I went to Portugal. Yeah, it was lovely. I was there for a fortnight. My daughter and my grandson was still here, and I cried every day to come back.
Well, I'm sorry, Anne, but I think you're being very selfish. I think you're being bloody selfish and a fool.
Everybody
and I don't think your son would want that from me for his mother. And I don't think your son deserves that sort of attitude. How dare you? Get out there. Your son, what would your son want? Celebrate life? Mm-hmm. Not you haven't died, your son's died, not you.
I can't anymore.
Well, I'm sorry, no, I'm afraid you're using that as an excuse, Anne.
No.
I think you are. What do you think, stopping is going to bring him back? It ain't. Celebrate his life by living your life. Getting out with your grandson, getting out with your family. That's what your son would want, not not the idea of widows' weeds, women's weeds. Well, I think you're being very selfish, Anne. I think very selfish, and I think you're using your son's death as an excuse, and I think that's wrong. And you'll forgive me for being so straight, but I think that's wrong. I think you're alive, and you've got to live your life. That's what you do to celebrate and honour your son. You live your life.
Exactly what you say.
Well, obviously it's not penetrating because you don't want it to, and I think you were selling your son short.
I loved him so much, Mike. I love him still.
Well, yeah, but what? So if you got married, you wouldn't go out, would you? If you'd moved away to Australia, that would have been the end of it. Come on now, grow up, woman. You know, this is a man whose life was taken off him tragically, and that's the last thing he wanted is death. He never wanted death, and he certainly didn't want his mother to have a death. Well, that's it. Well, if you loved his life, you loved him. Love life for him. Go out and enjoy every breath, every emotion, every feeling, so that when the little one turns around and says, "Grandma, what can we do?" You can tell him all about you, lad. And when you show him the world, you've got to show him the world. You can't. What sort of world do you want to show him? 4 bloody walls?
No.
Well, I've said my piece. I am sorry about your son.
No.
But
thanks, Mike. I
hope that you can live a better life for yourself away from the 4 walls, because I think you deserve it.
Thanks a lot.
0191 477 2000. Pick up the phone and give us a bell. It's always a case of sometimes that grief can affect, as affected that last there. The unfairness of it, the immorality of it. Not just her son, the people who died in the World Trade Center. Well, the other mother who loses a son in a village in Afghanistan. It can devastate you. It can actually take another life. But probably even worse than the death of the loved one is the living death of the survivors. And counselling, that's why you've got grief counselling. The church can sometimes help if you believe in that, even if you don't. Speaking to...
The icon has landed. He's Mike the Mouth Elliott, and you can call him now. 0191 477 2000.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Top of the morning.
Top of the morning, top of the chop, top of the chop. Would you believe? Here we are, Thursday.
Yeah, we are.
Yes, indeed, Thursday.
Thursday the 18th.
18th.
I hope otherwise they're going to be playing their own commercials.
There
You
you
see,
are.
that's a vast interest to our listener.
Just to me, though. They don't set me free.
Well, half a listener by statistics, actually. We haven't got a full one at this time of night. But by the way, it works out.
Yes.
Actually, which is better than Alan Robson, because he's only got an ankle. But, hey, you just take the rough with the smooth.
Of course you do, yes. The good with the bad and the
ugly.
ugly. Hey, good movie,
Stop
that
looking
one.
at me.
Rod, we love you. We think you're one of the sweetest, kindest, little dinkiest gnomes that we've ever come across.
Thank you, mate.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill.
There we are.
Yes, indeed. So here we are, in safe in the sanctuary. You haven't had any nasty letters, have you, Bill? Just you could
not-
be at risk.
Well, not more than usual. No.
Being a celebrity.
Of course.
And,
No, that's the truth to tell. Absolutely not.
I'm
no.
checking all my letters now. I am
Oh,
checking
yeah.
them. Oh, I at home, I'm getting the memsab to
Is she tasting your food as well?
He's tasting the food. And, food. Well, what? Good corn dog when I get back.
Well, you might have
Corn
a
dog and a can of beer.
you might have a dodgy crab cake. You never know. You gotta
Hey, don't. I was just. I promise you, one of these days, I'll make me crab cakes.
the crab cake. Have a crab cake, Kenny.
Crab cake.
A colour codes crab.
Oh, you
They used to
can't
do
have
that,
that.
didn't they? Used to sell them from the back doors of the cottages, didn't they?
Well, the colour codes fish lass, the song. The Mazza colour codes.
There used to be a lady used to be
Will you
desperate.
buy? Will you buy? Will you buy me fresh fish? Will you buy? Will you buy? Will you buy me fresh fish?
I think I've just gone off them actually.
The colour colour. When I was a kid, there was a woman in Sunderland, and Maggie, she was black.
There was always one in black, wasn't there?
all in black, and she used to carry the basket on her head.
Yep.
Whelks, Winkles, Crab, lobster. No, she was a Mackham, town ender. Lobster, and that was mostly
Didn't see many
sausage.
lobsters, Mike. That was expensive tackle. That when I was a kid. Whew. I mean, still is now, but nobody bought lobsters in my neighbourhood. It was all the crabs. You'd probably,
No, it was crabs. Well, I'm assuming lobsters.
Yeah.
But we had lobsters because we had some of the family who did a bit of fishing.
All right.
You see, but so I had lobster at a very early age.
Yes, of course. Yes.
But the crabs, she used to carry them on her head, and she used to have a funny sort of cushion
Yeah.
thing on her head, and put the basket on, and she could walk without it,
Finished up with a fortune and a flat head after all.
You still see the family around there.
Yeah, well, good stuff. Yeah,
Aye,
good stuff.
but this is it. She was a get up and go. Maybe she was a widow. I don't know. Widow woman, out to make a living.
Got up and gone.
And she got up and gone, and she sold the old.
The old crayon. You don't see them around anymore, do you? They're all,
No, women these days, they're not, man. That it's the hair, and all that. Maggie, something. I mean, my grandmother knew her very well. I think my grandmother went to school with her. She was
Well, this would be a lady in black, very similar. Used to stand outside the Spanish city, Whitley Bay, just down the bank there, towards the sun.
yeah.
She had the black on, and she had all the crabs and the whelks, and nice, pleasant lady she was. I remember just a little boy saying her. She's there for donkey's years. And all the stuff was good. These days about dodgy food. I mean, I don't know how they did it, because, the conditions couldn't have been that wonderful, could
No,
they?
well, there was less pollution,
Yeah,
That's
of
the
course.
thing. Though the seas were less polluted, less fished out.
And the bacon was crispier.
And now there's a great place down on North Shields Fish Quay, the fantastic bacon. That's the Chandler's down there.
The Chandler's, yeah.
Is it Holt's? Not Holt's, that's the pork butchers. What are they called? I forget the name, but it's down there.
And he does different makes, different cuts, and different.
Oh, it's the finest bacon you'll come across.
Get away.
And he tells you as well, man. There's a big sign outside.
What's the secret then? Does he buy?
I don't know what he buys, but he says, do you want
the best?
fatty bacon, runny bacon, full of water, diddly-diddly? Well, did
All
it
right.
come in here? He's great, and he does the butter separate.
Yeah.
So you can go to the Butter Mountain, and he does lovely black pudding. Wonderful bacon. I wouldn't go anywhere else with me bacon.
What's it called?
Anyway, it's down on the Fish Quay, and it's right beside the Fisherman's Mission.
Got you.
Another good place as well.
Yeah.
Wonderful breakfast, Fisherman's Mission.
Indeed.
And probably the best fish and chips down on the quay.
Yeah. If you're going for a breakfast with my press gang, you could finish up at Norway.
Oh, yeah, you've got to do your shift, like.
There you go. Just a minute, I've finished me bacon. Never mind.
No. Smack on the back of the head. Wake up. Get that net.
Never a dull moment. So I'll see you at 1 o'clock.
Okay, darling.
The icon has landed. He's Mike the Mouth Elliott, and you can call him now. 0191 477 2000.
You can indeed call me now with the last spasm of the show of shows here at Century FM. And Ned, you know, I know you're pretending to look through. Pretending to look through the paper, but he keeps coming back to this last show on a bottom, who's going to be in EastEnders.
On the 8th of November, you see, my my phone's up for renewal of contract.
Oh, right.
Mobile phone, you see, so I'm looking at all these phone ads to see if I can find a cheaper one.
Oh, well, this is it. I don't know, you follow them?
I want 500 minutes, free calls, not just off-peak, but peak as well.
Oh, no.
And I don't want to pay more than about £15 a month.
What is he talking about? I have no idea.
The small print.
I have no idea, man, for God's sake. Just get a card. You go in and get a £20 card. Just scrape it off, phone them up.
Pay-as-you-go, that, isn't it?
And it's done, for God's sake.
You use pay-as-you-go.
Aye, too right, aye. Well, aye. Because the beauty of it is, if somebody nicks your phone, you know what I mean?
Well, if somebody nicks your phone anyway, you can have a card.
No. David.
Hello.
It's Davidi. How are you, David?
I'm okay, my friend. Are you all right?
I'm canny.
Right. Listen what I'm going to say to you, right?
Tell me.
Right.
Tell me.
I don't know whether this comes in the bylaws of some kind or not. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I came out my local pub tonight, right?
God bless
which was
you.
in the High Street in Stockton, right?
All right.
And as I came out, I'm walking to go home, and I come by the bus stop, right?
Right.
And there was about, maybe 10 people in the bus stop, right? And there's about, from the bus stop itself on the edge of the pavement, right, to the buildings, right, maybe about 6 foot wide, that's about all, right?
Right.
And in the middle of the pavement, right, was, believe me, loads and loads of horse manure, which obviously was a police horse, of course.
A police horse?
Yeah, police horse. It dropped all this manure, right? So, I like speaking to somebody at the bus stop, right, you know, and they said to me how disgraceful it was, you know, and all this and that, you know, what I'm about.
Aye.
So, I says, hey, just a minute, I says, it is, I says, that's a discussion now, isn't it, I says. I said, that was somebody with a dog who we made to clean it up.
Too right.
So, will I tell you, Mike, them out? So, I said, I'll go down to the police station. So I went to the police station, which was just at the back of the High Street, right?
Right.
And I was speaking to the young lassie behind the counter, you know, on the reception in the police station. I said, excuse me, but I said, I'd like to put a formal complaint in. Or what would it be? And I tell her, I says, well, I just walked by the bus stop there, I says, and I says, only 6 foot from the edge of the pavement to the, to where the shops are, sort of thing. I said, and there's loads and loads of horse manure on the pavement, right in the middle of the pavement.
You said horse manure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, which it was.
Yeah.
So, she says to me, she says, you've had a drink, you. She says, I can't take no complaint from you. I said, I beg your pardon. She says, yeah, I've had a drink. Oh, I said, just a minute, pal, I said, I'll do something about this. So, I said, goodbye to her. And I comes back over, because I live in the town, and I comes back over to my house, and I get my camera, and I take 3 photographs of all this muck in the middle of the pavement. I took 3 photographs, right? So I went back on the police station, and the same young lassie come to the reception counter. I said, excuse me, fella, says, I was in before, I says, and you told me that you couldn't take a statement from me because I'd had a drink. I said, well, but fortunately, he says, and I showed the camera, I said, I've got this photograph now, I says, I've taken 3 photographs, different position of this, and I said, I'm going to take the Evening Gazette tomorrow and put it in the paper. I said, because that's discussion, I said, because that should be moved. You know, I mean, if it was dog muck, people would get fined.
Quite. How do you know it was a police horse's muck?
Well, obviously it was.
Well, I don't know. Did you see the police horse?
No, the lassie at the bus stop says.
I mean, was there a policeman around on a horse at that time of night?
No.
So,
the lassie in the bus stop.
And we say this horse shit couldn't have been planted.
Obviously not.
No. Well, I mean, say, could it have been, I mean, say, could it have been somebody else on a horse? I agree about cleaning the mess up.
Well, obviously, it wouldn't have been from a racecourse. It wasn't a racehorse, anything like that. You know what I mean?
No, it wouldn't have been a
we're not
racehorse.
stupid, you know.
Well, I know, but, there are other horses rather than police horses.
Yeah, but this was a police horse, right? But my point is...
Your point, yeah.
Should this be allowed to happen? Why shouldn't that man on that horse dismount and clean that up like anybody else would with a dog?
Well, he should, indeed he should. He should have...
I tell that lady...
Should have a horsey scooper pooper.
I said to the lady, I said, look, I said, if I get no success from you, I says, I'm going to see Mr. Gibson tomorrow and put a foreign complaint against, with him.
Well, first off...
I mean, it's disgraceful.
You don't, just because you've had a drink does not give you the... does not deny you the right to make a complaint.
You were spot on. You were spot on.
All. You're not drunk, you're not disorderly. If you were drunk and disorderly, then her job was to get a policeman to come and arrest you in the police station.
Correct.
So she didn't, so she knew that was dodgy ground.
Exactly.
And obviously, I'm not saying they're trying to hide something, because you can't, it's in the middle of the road.
And I've got it photographed.
And you've got it photographed.
I've got a photograph with the Gazette tomorrow.
I would do that with the Gazette, and I would say, look, this is, if police are going to be trotting around with horses whose bowels cannot be controlled, then they should at least carry a shovel and a...
I'll tell you what, Mike the Mouth.
Aye.
I hope somebody in that police station is listening to this conversation now.
Every police station listens to this show.
Well, they probably will.
So Stockton?
No, but truthfully.
Do you live very far away from the horse muck now?
Truthfully, do you think that's right?
No, I know, but how far away do you live from the muck? Now, well, if you
about quarter of a mile.
I was going to say it'd be interesting if there's anybody in Stockton High Street now with a mobile. If you could walk up it's a long thing. What's the pub, nearest pub?
The Stag.
The Stag. So, it couldn't have been a stag having a crap, could it? No. But if there's anybody round there, if you see round by the Stag, if there's a pile of horse muck, will you phone in and let us know?
Hey, I tell you what, I bet you somebody phone you and let you know. Because it's there this minute now. I bet somebody phone you and says, that man's dead right, it's there now. Right in the middle of the pavement.
I'm just wondering if they've maybe sent an undercover, maybe a detective out in plain clothes to clean it up.
Hey, by the way, I've phoned you time and time again.
Oh, I know you have.
Yeah, I know.
I know you have.
Well.
But I mean to say it's a very important point.
Because my mate from Ireland phoned you, didn't he?
Oh, he did?
Remember my mate from Ireland?
Oh, I remember him from Ireland.
I'm going to see him the fortnight's time, actually.
Oh, well, that'd be nice.
Hey, when I go there, Mike, yeah.
Aye.
I'm going to see him in 3 weeks of Friday, actually, it is. If I phone you from there, will that be all right?
All you do is, David, you phone us up. You tell us, you have the number ready, you tell us...
I know your number.
You tell us the number and we'll phone you straight back.
Anyway, Mike, I hope somebody phones and let you know about that lost muck, right?
Okay, then, buddy.
Okay, tell mate.
There we are, the case of the Dollopin horse turds. But again, yes, a dog muck on the streets these days, shouldn't be allowed. But neither should horse muck. Should be cleaned up, even though it is good for your gardens and your roses and the lakes. But it should be cleaned up and the place should be sprayed and cleaned up. There's no excuse, just because if it's a police horse, we don't know if it was, allegedly. I was going to say that eventually we'll get to the bottom of this, but I'd rather not. Actually, just in case it's ready to drop again. I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places. Paul.
Hello, yeah?
Hello, Paul. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Mike.
Have you been on before? Or?
I haven't, no, I haven't been on
before. Century Virgin. Your fanfare is thine by right, my boy. So where are you from?
From Stockton. On Tees, yeah.
You haven't been up by the Stag, have you?
No, I never went down that far, no.
Oh, what a pity. We were just wondering about the horse muck. So then, I've just spilled on me drink. The rum and coke. What can we do for you, Paul?
Well, I thought I'd phone in and tell you I don't go out very much these days. Like I've been.
Why is that?
I'm on the sick at the moment.
Is that because you can't afford it, or
I can't afford it? Probably.
No,
But I did go out tonight and I enjoyed myself.
Good for you.
I went to a pub, a little pub, and they had a karaoke on there, and there was some really good people on there.
Did you not get up?
I did have a few goes, but I mean, I'm not very good myself, but
everybody's good.
I enjoyed it,
Everybody's good on karaoke. Let's not mess around. What's the pub called?
In Stockton, the Open Grave.
The what?
The
Open Grave.
Hop Merchant.
Oh, I thought you said the Open Grave.
No,
that wouldn't surprise me, mate. So you had a good night. Well, it's good to get out. I don't know if you haven't got much money, but
like I say, I don't go out much, mate, you know, so I just thought...
Do you live by yourself?
Yeah.
Well, therefore, you've got to get out a bit more.
Yeah.
You've got to socialise. You can't just look inwardly and up your own navel. Yeah. You've got to get out a few glugs, a max at a treat, and a way to enjoy yourself. How long have you been out of work?
Quite a while. I mean, I have worked, like, you know, I finished college in 1985. I worked for about 6 years, and then I've been out of work just as long, nearly.
10 years?
Yeah. No, I haven't been out of work 10 years.
It's out on the horizon?
What? Well, I don't know. I've done a short college course, and I've tried to keep active, like, you know, with different things, like the computer, gardening, guitar, that sort of thing.
Well, that's you've got the.
What I was going to say was that, although I've been out of work, I've still found things to keep myself occupied, you know. So I was just saying to other people who were in the same position, you find that there is other things that you can do, you know, even though I haven't been working at the moment, you know. There is other things to do, you know. So.
You can't just sit there, you know, say, look, you've got to get out and try and do things. You've got time. Use the time wisely to get some benefits, you know. You keep trying to look for work, but you might as well do other things as well, especially if you're single, you know. There's less tension on you. If you've got a wife and kids, then you've got a problem, you know. You've got to try and make sure they've got a roof and food and what have you. But, so... Your energies are directed in the singular activity of trying to find work. But for you, But getting out is good for you. Good for the soul.
I enjoyed tonight, I must admit.
It's was good for the soul.
Exceptional, you know. So.
And that's what the main thing is. Okay?
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Well, we're here anytime. Anytime you like. This is the worrying thing. I know the Japanese are very polite and what have you, and some of them are law-abiding. Obviously, if you remember the Yakuza, you're not, because you're a gangster. But anyway, a Japanese man has actually turned himself into the police because he has confessed that he'd been planning a robbery, but he hadn't done it. But he still felt guilt and shame, so he's confessed to thinking about doing the crime. And... So the coppers have nicked him, because poor lad lost his job, heavy in debt, and he thought, if I just hold up a post office, what he was going to do was walk in the post office with a can of oil and threatening to light it. But he chickened out, and he says, I want to start a new life, you know, I don't want to be a life of crime, but I was thinking about it. I was thinking about doing it. I haven't done it. I was thinking about doing it. And so the cops arrested him. I think it's a bit rough, innit? I was just thinking about it. You know, I mean, if you give governments and the police this sort of power, they'll start coming at you. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Me? What? Oh, aye. Oh, rob a bank. That's it. That'll do for us. Disgraceful. And also, crimes, lies. There's California, a fishing competition, right? The winner has been disqualified because he failed a lie detector test. Somehow, a fisherman not telling a lie somehow is unusual. Fishermen always lied, didn't they? All fishermen tell lies. Fish was this big, you know. He's called Jimmy Storm. He caught a 40-pound striped bass, and during the Rio Vista Bass Festival, he said it's kosher. Not kosher. It's not Jewish. I don't know. I don't think fish have religion, do they? I don't think you can get Jewish. No, I think you can't Jewish bass, no. And anyway, they got a lie detector in, and boom, because the first prize was a fishing boat worth 19,000, and you know, they've got his mate said he landed it. I watched him landed it, you know, but it really is. The guy said, the organiser, we wanted honesty, integrity in our events, and there weren't big fish tails going on. Well, of course, the speaker's fishing. I mean, you tell me a fisherman who's ever told the truth about his catch. For God's sake. Some fish that you can't even shut the fridge door, they're that big, man. 1191 477 2000. Jill.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Hiya.
How's life?
No, it's all right.
Ah, good. Where are you from?
I'm from Middlesbrough.
Borough lass, well, have a fanfare. Have a little fanfare, Jill. So then, you don't live around this red light area, do you?
No, but I actually live in Stockton, but I have a shop in Middlesbrough.
Oh, what sort of shop?
Hairdressers.
Oh, very nice. Do you do men's, unisex?
Yeah, yeah.
So if I come down and I says, Jill, I want me hair laid, you'll be the girl to do it?
No, all right, yeah.
Right, just wait and I might come down. What's the name of the shop?
Cappers.
What?
Cappers.
Cappers?
Cappers.
C-A-P-P-E-R-S.
K-A-P-P-E-R-S.
Okay, can you not spell? Cappers, and what? Go on, let's put the Cappers of Middlesbrough, and it's Jill.
Yeah.
Right, so everybody goes in. If you say you heard about it on the show of shows, she might give you, what would you, I don't know, she might give you a free hairnet.
Oh, discount, yeah.
There you are. So what, so you live in Stockton, you travel every day to Middlesbrough?
Yeah.
Right, okay, what can we do for you?
Well, what it is, right, like, the drugs problem in Middlesbrough is absolutely terrible now. And it seems to have, I mean, there's always been one, as you know, Mike. But, like, in the last month, like, we look outside our shop, and it's like, imagine it's all women work there. And we look outside our shop every day, and it's just absolutely terrible, Mike. You know
what is it, kids hanging around, or dealers?
Oh, it's dealing. Absolutely dealing.
Where's the police?
I don't know, Mike.
Well, you know, what do you think about the police having this anti-prostitute campaign? Do you think that's wasting resources when they should be coming helping you, or what?
Well, what they should be doing is, like, dealing with, like, how come that there's this massive drug problem. You know what I mean? It's like the prostitutes are only prostitutes because they're coping with the drug habit. You know what I mean? All the people who are outside our shop I'm looking at, they've got a massive drug habit.
The police could sort this out very easily. I mean, you know, they just get a pile of undercover cars, they surround the whole area.
They know where they are.
And yeah, they could do it, block it off, move in, have the paddy wagons there and lift everybody in the square. Everybody stop, no matter who you are. You stop, you search. If you've got drugs on, you're arrested. And tell them all, if we catch you in that square again, if we catch you, we're going to bust your balls every time you... So that cleans it out of that area, and then they'll find another area, and then you hit them there. But you keep forcing them out of the city.
They're not doing anything about it. And I'm telling you now, like, this has got much more massive in about since the bombings in America. And I believe that, like, there's a massive conspiracy somewhere.
How do you mean?
Well, we all know where the drugs are coming from.
Afghanistan. Yeah. Well, a lot of it, yeah.
And they've obviously got stockpiles of this drug, heroin, and they're flooding this area with it.
Well, heroin is now so cheap.
Yeah, exactly. It was never that cheap years ago. Like, there's always been a drug problem round here. But if you wanted heroin, you had to go to London or Brighton. You know what I mean? But now, everyone comes here.
Well, it is supply and demand, and obviously if you can get new addicts into your net, then obviously it's in the long term, it's good business to almost reduce the price. But the price has come down. The market forces, as they say, has brought the prices down.
Don't you think as well, Mike, that, like, you know, they're going about biological warfare, anthrax and all this. Don't you think that heroin has been a massive, like, influx that's killing off a generation? It's
doing more damage to our society than anthrax will ever will.
Exactly.
And that's where that's where you should be looking to the major problem. And the police have got no excuse if they
can. The police should come and sit in our shop and look and see what's happening outside. You know what I mean? Because we see it.
No, the police are not. You've got to bear in mind that 3/4 at least of all the people you see outside your shop dealing drugs are police informers. They're all informing on each other, so police know exactly what's happening.
They're fighting each other, like, they're nicking drugs off each other. They're not even hiding it.
What age groups are you talking about?
We're talking from, like, 15, 14 to 30-odd. You know what I mean? It's not even an age group that you can say. And this is, like, it's always been there, but, like, this is only in about the last month that...
Well, it may well be. And that, I mean, whether the Taliban have got rid of all their load onto the market, we don't know. It's going to take. It always takes a time to come through, because it's got to come a long way and it's got to be treated. But as I do know that the price of heroin a bag on the street is well, £8, £10, something like that.
Yeah, £10 a bag.
It is
well, the
ridiculous.
Selling themselves for a £5. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A £5.
Yeah.
And the young lasses, and all the blokes that were going with them are paedophiles.
Well, the point is, the police are, with their advertising here, the police are going to arrest everybody they catch, and if they're on film, they'll be visited at the house and arrested. So there is this attack on, and we had a girl, Maria, on last Sunday, I believe, last week, who said that business was a bit bad. Man, she made 145 quid that night. But she wasn't. What's she
going to do with it? Well, she's going to give it to her boyfriend, and she's going to just spend it on
she said no. She didn't have a pimp or a boyfriend or was an addict, but I don't know. But the thing was that she reckoned there was having some effect, and it was pushing and pushing and pushing. Well, if they can do that for the red light area in Middlesbrough against curb crawlers, then they should be able to create the resources to get in there and really, kick the addicts and the dealers right out of that area, but also keep them on the move. You've got to keep them on the move to the extent whereby suddenly the only place you can deal is on the road between Middlesbrough and Redcar, or so it's out of sight. It's not out of mind, but it's out of sight, but it puts more pressure on them and irregular blitzkriegs suddenly there, bang bang, you jailed, boom, bang bang, can keep them on the move. But it's up to the police to get involved with that. It's but they can't do it when it suits them.
But it's like, I mean, we have a lot of customers who live in the area where our shop is, who are really nice people that lived there all their lives, and all of a sudden these private landlords have come in. Right, and they get the dregs of society who've been shot out of council houses because they're wrecked them, right? And they've moved into these where we are, and
well, again, it's up to the authorities, the police and the council. The council can hit every one of them houses to find if they've followed all the standards that's needed to rent. Because there's safety standards, especially say gas fires and electrics and cleanliness and health and safety. If the council could do a blitz on them and put orders in closing them up, just because it's a private landlord doesn't mean that the council can't get a court order to close them.
Oh, I know, but Mike, but it doesn't happen in reality.
But it can't. No, but you've got to get. I'm sorry, but it's news moaning to me. Why don't you moan to the council and the police?
No, we are. I'll tell you this, right? There was the other week, one of my customers was telling me that they phoned the police up because there was two lads and a lass walking, they live in terrace houses, right? So there's walls at the back of the house, and there was two lads and a lass walking over the backs of walking on their walls, looking into the houses, and they went out and said, "What you doing? Bugger off!" And they went, "Oh, we've seen what we want to see." You know what I mean? So they were looking to see if he had dogs in the yard, what he had in the houses. So they phoned the police up, and the police said, "I'm sorry, we haven't got the manpower."
Yeah. Well, that's no excuse. That's no excuse.
We're living in bloody anarchy. If you could come and live and just look where we are.
Well, I've got to say, I agree with you. But unless the people get together
we've got a massive petition up.
Petition's a waste of time.
Well, what do you do?
Well, what you do, first of all, is you immediately have a business rate strike. You have a community charge strike.
The same rate as they do in the bloody Cleveland Centre.
Yeah, so you get all the shops to combine for that. You get all the citizens to say we're not paying community charge. You occupy the council offices. You get the press on your side and everything else.
So how do you do that then, Mike?
I'll just tell you.
Well, how do you get the press on your side?
Well, just by doing what I've said, you'll get the press. I mean, they'll come on because it's a good story. Press are only interested in a good story.
Right. I mean, we've been in business for 20 years, I'm telling you, I just feel like selling up.
I'm sure you do, darling.
And it's like living.
There's no excuse when the police can find enough policemen to cover miners or people on strike or traffic protesters. They can always find enough people during football matches at Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
There's enough policemen there to put a blitzkrieg on, to attack and attack and attack. There's no excuse, and all you've got to do is say the name Ray Mallon. When he was there, crime fell 30%.
Well, there's another thing as well. Like, what's happened there?
Well, I'm afraid as far as I'm concerned, it's difficult to say the word corruption. I don't know what's the word.
Someone puts themselves up on a pedestal and they get knocked off.
I think there was a lot there that we might find later on, but Ray Mallon proved one point, whether it's Ray Mallon or anybody else, is that if you start getting in there in a proper way, doing your job properly and kicking arse, actually the manpower can be utilised in such a way that the police are not overstretched. And but you've got to fight and fight and fight. But I've got a gun, Jill, because we've trying to get people on, man. Gordon. So I come to Gordon, I get rid of Jill, Gordon's waiting, Gordon's bogged off. So we're going to Colin.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Colin.
Hello. The reason I'm ringing is about, I'm probably sick of talking about it now, is all this lot going over off in Afghanistan.
I've heard a bit about it, haven't I?
You've heard a bit about it.
I mean,
the thing that's worrying me at the minute is where people are now starting to say, look, they want to stop the bombing. I know there's a couple of aid agencies and what have you saying, look, it's time to pack it in a little bit, But, the thing is, George Bush, didn't he? When it all started, he said this is going to be a long, drawn-out affair, at the end of the day, they drew first blood, not us, for all those poor souls that lost their lives on, the terrible day, it was really bad. What it is the world has to unite together, because the only way that we're going to beat these guys is to stick in there, is for the whole world to pull together and not for people to sort of start saying, look, it's gone on too long, when's it going to end? We're all warned, we knew it was going to happen it's going to take a long time for this to happen,
Well, people are entitled, people don't want wars, and everybody would like any war of any kind of action to be over as quickly as possible, and you don't want innocents, whether they're in Manhattan or Afghanistan, children, mothers, old people or what have you, non-combatants, to be killed, whether deliberately, as in Manhattan, to be sacrificed or to be accidentally killed. You don't want that. Anybody with a conscience doesn't want that. But I think what we've got to look at also is accept the fact that the Red Cross and the United Nations humanitarian agencies would be very strange if they were saying bomb the bastards. It's kind of the nature of them. To go in. But I think what we've got to look at is the fact that the Taliban are ripping off the UN humanitarian agencies now. On the stuff coming through, we've got, maybe Bill might be mentioning it on the 1 o'clock news, is that the Taliban have gone into their warehouses and have pinched all the food.
So they've been doing that for a long time, haven't they, really?
Well, of course they have.
Full Monty they've been going for. They've been taking everything.
Yeah, but they're for the UN, before they start talking about bombing, they should start coming out and really slagging off the bloody Taliban. And I've got to say, this comes right down the line, all these protesters, what they've got to understand, wonderful freedom. If Ben Liner and his boys were running this country, right, they would be dead now for what they did when they went on a protest. They've got to understand that when we're asking young men and women to do this fighting, we are trying to protect not only our way of life, but also trying to give other countries a chance, not necessarily the same style of government or living or what have you, but some kind of chance where they can educate the kids, feed the kids, love the kids, smile with the kids, possibly even think about something other than can we survive the day with food. That's what we want to give them. And I think these people, arts and everything else, you've got to say, I understand you, but no, at the moment the right thing to do is what's being done. And if we want to say it again, I'm sick of saying it tonight, the Taliban had 30 days, right? America had something like 1 minute.
Well, that's it. It was all gone in 60 seconds, wasn't it? It was terrible.
So let's plan this properly and say that the Taliban, all they had to do was hand over the whole of the Al-Qaeda organisation and all his supporters, if there's 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, we want the lot and destroy it and sort the things out, and then this wouldn't be happening. They're the ones who've got to accept the fact that this is happening. They brought it on themselves, and
well, like I say, yeah, I mean, they drew the first blood. I mean, they'd had their warnings time and time again. They knew that, George Bush, he gives so many warnings in the past that, and the amount of time that he did give them, you were saying, we give them weeks and weeks notice,
Sunday dinner, Arab?
No.
Do you know how he's eat? Toss him a frozen turkey?
No.
I can't find this hard to believe. I find this... Because the women are throwers. Women, you get raggy and you throw things. Nout.
No, I just get moody.
Has he tossed out at you?
No.